Prabhu, I'm reading Mathura Mahatmya these days.
Yeah.
And I read a quote that if one commits suicide in Vrindavan.
By drinking poison or by strangling oneself, one still attains the supreme destination.
Yeah.
So, is that what you want to do?
No, but I heard you saying in one lecture that you, at one point in your life, you were also thinking about jumping into the Yamuna.
I think about that a few times, especially when it comes to institutional strike. Sometimes I just say, forget this nonsense. I'm going back to God faith. But, it says that you attain the supreme destination, and by jumping in the Yamuna, I've read, but I can't remember, so I can't quote it, so I can't, be of much use to you. But that by drowning in the Yamuna, you attain Golok Dham. I had a dream one time. I had a dream where I drowned in the Yamuna, and my body went under and was going down the Yamuna, and I came out in my spiritual body, and Radhe Shyam was standing under a tree on the side of the river, smiling at me as I was coming out of the water.
Wow.
So I was thinking that maybe that's how I'll leave my body. but my real desire is to leave while leading kirtan for Radha songs. This is my desire. I don't know if Krishna will fulfill that desire, but that's my real desire. But it says that by leaving your body drowning in the Yamuna, that you attain Golok Dham. The Golok Dham's a big place, and you may not attain the Braja Leelas by doing that. Especially unless you've been actually culturing the Brajabhavas. Even by worshiping the deity in Brajadam and from Vrindavan, if you're not culturing the Brajabhavas, you don't attain the Brajaleelas as a result of your archana. So the archana city that you get is a different kind of city. There's many different types of cities, or different levels of perfection. So it's not that just by drowning in the Yamuna, you're going to attain the highest aspect of the supreme destination. That's not recommended. And besides, these bodies are not our bodies. We're thinking that they're our bodies, but actually they don't belong to us. So we have no right to take the body away from who it actually belongs to. Although, usually, a disciple will think that the body belongs to the guru. But because all bodies belong to Krishna, and ultimately you can't take it away because of the law of conservation of energy. The energy is never taken away from Krishna. But you can say that if Krishna wants to use that body for something, just like in the case of Sanatana Goswami, wanting to throw himself under the wheels of the Jagannath cart, and Mahaprabhu, reprimanding him because he had a plan for that body to be used for spreading Krishna consciousness. And Mahaprabhu said that if I could get love of Godhead by killing myself, I would have killed myself hundreds of times. So what is ultimately love of Godhead means Braja prema. So, unless you're in the mood of Radharani drowning in the Yamuna out of feelings of separation from Krishna, I wouldn't recommend it. And even that Radharani who drowned herself in the Yamuna wasn't the highest aspect of Radharani, who never leaves Braja. The Ladini Shakti aspect of Radharani didn't drown herself in the Yamuna. That was the Yogini aspect. the ground of Salkadimuna. And that's a subordinate energy, subordinate tattva, But the real Radharani never leaves Vrindavan. So the best recommendation is just to live your life in Vrindavan up to your up to your last breath, your dying day, which comes naturally in the mood of serving, of never leaving Vrindavan, and serving your highest mistress, Vladini Shaktivad. Krishna never takes a step out of Vrindavan, and Radharani never takes a step out of Vrindavan. Who went to Kurukshetra was not the original Radharani. She was not the original, daughter of Kirtida. She was another subordinate energy, which serves the highest energy, but is not actually the highest, enjoyable of Brajendanand and Krishna. So therefore, she went to Kurukshetra to see Vasudev Krishna. Kirtida Putri Radharani doesn't have any nista for Vasudev Krishnas. She's only concerned with Brajendanand and Krishna. So there's no relationship whatsoever with Vasudev Krishna. But the subordinate aspect, ran off to try to convince Vasudev Krishna to come back to Vrindavan. But that wasn't the real Radharani. Nor was it the real Radharani that drowned herself in the Yamuna. And came out on the other side as Satyabhama. So anyway, we want to serve the original feature of Radharani, and for that we have to cultivate the right bhav. So by cultivating the right bhav, in the mood of following the Ladini Shakti in order to give pleasure to Krishna. So why is it that you want to, take poison or strangle yourself by hanging yourself or jump in the Yamuna? We have the question, is it really for the pleasure of Krishna? Are we actually cultivating that mood of supporting or assisting Vladini Shakti Radha's mood of always staying in Vrindavan and never taking a single step out of Vrindavan, to be here for Krishna, because, when Krishna needs us, Krishna wants us, and he turns around and we've hung ourselves, then how if we please Krishna? Krishna wants to use us as an instrument in any capacity, whatever it may be. We should be ready to be that for him, and that means being here for him when he needs us to be here. He wants to take us out, and that's his business. Furthermore, our goal is not to attain the supreme destination. Our goal is to attain the Bhoma Leelas of. Then, if Krishna takes us, to Golok, to be involved with the Braja Leelas on the Golok planet, then that's his prerogative, that's his business. But at least initially, we should not be having our sights set on going to Golok as much as we should have our sights set on to for going to the Bhoma Leelas. And this specific nuances of prema manifest in the Bhoma Leelas, which are not manifest in the Golok Leelas anyway, is considered to be a more intense devotional field, the Bhoma Leelas, than the Golok Leelas. So, some Vaishnavas, they aspire to eternally remain in the Braja Leelas, in the Boma Leelas, in whatever universe Krishna's Leelas, they want to travel with Krishna's, you know, road show, so to speak, and stay constantly in the Braja Leelas instead of going to the Golok Leelas. So it's not such a high aspiration to go to Golok. Krishna wants us to to come back and dance with him in the spiritual sky. So we should do whatever we have to do, to satisfy his requirements. But generally, we should understand, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says that it's not that we can just pop up in the Golok Leelas, and have the abhiman of being the daughter of such and such cowherd man or whatever. That abhiman is generated by our having taken our birth in the Boma Leelas, and then by the generation of that abhiman sticks with us when we're transferred to the Golok planets. So therefore, he says it's actually essential for devotees who are cultivating the Braja Bhavas that they take their one more birth. It's not that our aspiration is to get the hell out of this material world, so therefore we want this to be our last birth. We don't want this to be our last birth. We want one more birth in the Boma Leelas. Of course, that birth will be a transcendental birth, more or less. But many of the gopis, they didn't, when they appeared in Boma Leela, they didn't have their Siddhadeha. They didn't appear, with their Satchidananda Vigraha. So there was still, an element of actions and reactions on the material platform in relationship to the three modes of material nature, even though they took their birth from the wombs of gopis. So they were not, fully, situated at the lotus feet of Krishna on the stage of Vastra city. Still, they took their birth in the Boma Leela. So that kind of birth we can expect. If we've highly intensified our purvarad for meeting Radha and Krishna in this lifetime, then we may expect to transition from the involvement with the sadhak deha to the complete absorption in the fully manifest siddha deha upon appearing in the Boma Leelas of Krishna. So that when Krishna calls us for Maharas, for example, that's your mood, then you'll be able to immediately, get around your superiors and your, husband or whatever, and attain Krishna's shelter, at Bangsiva.
Some Babajis say that Chaitanya Lila is only preferred Lila. That is not it.
They're wrong.
That's wrong.
They're absolutely wrong. That means they have no understanding of Gaura Lila.
One time you said that, as I remember, you were here also, and you were saying that Gaura Lila is so merciful, Mahaprabhu is so merciful, that only by this mercy we could actually go to Bhaks, no? And then you were saying that only by their mercy, you said we might even take a birth first in Gaura Lila, and then get their prema, get all these anarthas out and bhav and everything, and then get a birth in book.
Yeah, that use. Right. It's mentioned that if one didn't get prema in this lifetime, because you only get the lower stages of prema anyway. You can get bhav siddhi, and there may be a certain degree of intensification, but you're not going to get the upper levels of prema. Prema goes from sneha to all the way up to mahabhav. So you're certainly not going to be able to manifest the degrees of prema that the Braja Gopis are able to manifest in their spiritual bodies, in this sadhaketa. So then you can take your the idea is that by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, because he doesn't consider who's fit and who's not fit. If there's someone who is having difficulty, because sometimes there are hurdles, it's described in Madhurya Kudambini that there are hurdles even at the stage of Bhava, that it may be a very long time for one to come up to the platform prema, because the devotee can't get over those hurdles. So then that means a certain disqualification. So Mahaprabhu, without considering who's qualified and who's unqualified, for those babukas, who will attain his Bhoma Leelas, then he will, push them over that hurdle,
But probably when you are in Gorilla, you don't even want to go anywhere because you're already with Gornitai, no? I mean, you get maybe your Siddhas Farup, like, Manjari Farup, or...
Yeah.
But still you want to be with Nitai or,
Yeah, right. But still, Gaur Leela is based on Krishna Leela. Even though, you can say that the complete full combined manifestation of Radha Krishna in the form of Gora is greater than the sum total of the parts, so to speak. But still, without Krishna Leela. Of course, some devotees, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jayadharma says that some devotees, they will attain Gaur Leela because and only Gaur Leela in the Gaur Peeth of Golok Dham. That's proof, at least as far as we're concerned, that's proof that that there is a Gaur Leela in Golok that is not, Prakat Leela in the materials world. And they won't attain the Krishna Leela because they're more attached to Lord Chaitanya, or they're exclusively attached to Lord Chaitanya, and some, will only attain Radha Krishna Leela in the Krishna period of Braja, and others who have attachment to both Leelas, like me, we will attain, spiritual bodies in both Leelas.
You said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is your Ishtadev. So what is your relationship with him? Are you a Brahmin? Are you a small girl of Navadvip?
No. That's for me to know and you to not worry about.
Don't worry.
Anyway, we can have, one form in Gaur Leela and another form in Krishna Leela. So I'll be a Kishore Brahmin. Maybe a little more. When it's suitable. The main principle is that we should always do whatever is anukul. Anukul, Gaur Anushilanam. It's not that anyone should think to do anything, whether it's in Radha and Krishna or whether it's in Gaur. One should not think to do something which is Pratipula, or against the consideration of the large pressure. We have, our individual, moods. We'll cultivate, different roots because we have different things. You said different attractions. The aspects of what the Supreme Absolute Truth is all about. What is within, the realm of possibilities. But generally, generally it's advised that one, but you cannot say that it's an absolute thing that one should appear in Gaur Leela as a Kishore Brahman boy, There in Navadvitam there's certainly many Kishores also, and even devotees like Malini Devi, she also had Lord Chaitanya as her, and Lord Nityananda as her son. She would even breastfeed Lord Nityananda, all those, her breast milk had long dried up, but Nityananda cuts, her breast in the mood of a young boy wanting to breastfeed, and immediately there was milk, Of course, Lord Chaitanya told Malini Devi not to tell anybody about this because he didn't want to advertise, that, because people might talk, so, and, so similarly, you can't limit Lord Chaitanya, although he has his staibab. It's not that, but it's not that just because he has a staibab, in the mood of Radharani, Radha Krishna Nahiyanya, he has his staibab in that mood of relishing Radharani's standpoint. But you can see in Chaitanya Bhagavat that he takes many moods, and it's like a kaleidoscopic thing. So many devotees, are having the fitness to ascertain, the mood of the Lord. It's just like when Gaur tried, when he desired to dance as Lakshmi at the house of Chandrasekhar, he was manifesting various moods, and the devotees were trying to understand, which, who is this that he is impersonating, But there was a kind of transcendental guesswork going on. Some were thinking that, maybe he's in the mood of Lakshmi. Some were thinking that, maybe he's in the mood of Rukmini. And, some of them actually couldn't ascertain. And from another angle, some of them were actually seeing one thing. And in other words, Lord Chaitanya it's just like, it's not difficult to understand, although, it's difficult to actually, be there and be a part of it. But it's not difficult to understand, at least if we logically pursue the idea that if Krishna in Krishna Leela can sit, on the swing, and he's surrounded on all sides, 8 sides, by the Astasakis, but each of the Astasakis is thinking that Radha and Krishna are looking at them. Isn't it? Northwest, southeast, northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, so So they're all facing Radha and Krishna from different directions, yet Radha and Krishna are facing them, each individually. You know, it's inconceivable from our present conception of time and space, etc. But just given that if that can happen, or if Krishna can be having lunch with the cowherd boys, and each boy, even though there's thousands and thousands of cowherd boys, each boy is thinking that Krishna is sitting with him, facing him, and interacting with him, and he's not just thinking that. Krishna's actually sitting, facing, and interacting with each cowherd boy. And another example is that at the end of the day, after Krishna comes out from the Surya Mandir, when Krishna is acting as the priest for Radharani at the Surya Mandir, and after that the Leela is done, Krishna goes back to be with the cowherd boys. So at that time, the cowherd boys, they want to dress him up in different ways. So Krishna expands into unlimited, or thousands and thousands at least, of forms without the other cowherd boys knowing. Each cowherd boy has his own Leela Vilas, and in each Leela Vilas, Krishna is allowing the cowherd boy to decorate him the way that particular cowherd boy in his own heart likes to see his Krishna. So then, Krishna accepts the decorations of each cowherd boy, and then again he merges into one cowherd boy, one Gopal, and he's rollicking back home with all the cows and cowherd boys, to Nandagram, but what's going on? Even though it's one let's say form of Krishna rollicking along, playing his flute, and dancing, running along with Balaram, and all the cowherd boys are running along after him as the cows are, anxiously increasing their speed to the Goshala, so stampede, so they're all running along joyfully. But each cowherd boy is seeing Krishna the way he dressed him. You see? So even though there's only one Krishna, but each cowherd boy is seeing Krishna the way he dressed him. Someone dressed him in a blue turban. Someone dressed him in an orange turban. Someone dressed him in a golden turban. But so who dressed him in the blue turban will see him, the same Krishna running along, you will see him dressed in the blue turban. And someone who dressed him in the orange turban will see him as dressed, the way he dressed it, with only, one peacock feather, and the other dressed him in a golden turban, but he had 3 peacock feathers, because he likes to see Krishna with 3 peacock feathers, right? So he'll see him with 3 peacock feathers, but they're all running along with Krishna, going home. Now they're all running along, and seeing Krishna according to their own bhav. Krishna's bhavagrahi Janardana, and he's reciprocating with the bhavs of each devotee.
But does that also refer to pictures? Like, for example, at Kushan Sarovar, they're distributing at the Ban Mandir this picture of Krishna with a mustache. So I was shocked, like, how can Krishna have a mustache? Has he a mustache?
Dina Bandaprabhu gave a different explanation the other day when we went with him. He goes that he had to disguise himself as the hair plucker. So he had a mustache on, yeah. That's what he's told us on yesterday, right?
Yeah, could be something like
Or the Muslim influence?
No.
I thought I'd see you in a pencil.
No, but if Krishna's dressed up like, Shama Saki, are we going to say, wait a minute, that's not... Is that bona fide? Anyway, but But the point I'm bringing out here is that it just is that there's Radha and Krishna in every kunja. Prabodhananda Saraswati says, "Why are you worried?" In Vrindavan Mahimamrita, there's one sloka where he's saying, "Why are you worried?" You know, there's Radha and Krishna in every kunja. It's not that you have to, wait in a line of 100 million, gopis who are all standing there waiting to be able to put their garland on Radha and Krishna before you can get a chance to put a garland on Radha and Krishna. Radha and Krishna will come to your kunja, and you'll be so overwhelmed with the ecstasy of Radha and Krishna mercifully coming to accept your services in your kunja, that do you think that you're going to be, concerned about how they're dressing Krishna down at Radharaman Mandir, or how they're dressing Krishna at, there's 5,000 temples, with Radha and Krishna and in Vrindavan here in this field, in this realm, so why couldn't we expect you to be 500 million billion, Radha and Krishna's, in each temple of each devotee's heart, in the realm of Golok. So there'll be a Radha and Krishna for every one of us, So in the same way, there'll be a Gora for every one of us. Someone is seeing in Gaur Leela, someone is seeing Lord Chaitanya, manifesting a particular mood, and another devotee can simultaneously be seeing Lord Chaitanya manifesting another mood. And then sometimes the walls between the different Leela Vilases of each individual devotee will break down and will merge them all into one, and they'll all see Lord Chaitanya in one particular mode. But still, each devotee reciprocates with Lord Chaitanya in terms of their own mood. Or they adjust their mood to accommodate the moods of Lord Chaitanya. It's just like when Gadadhar will be alone with Lord Chaitanya, it may be that Gadadhar is in the mood of Radha, and Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Krishna. It's not that Lord Chaitanya never takes the mood of Krishna. Sometimes he takes the mood of Krishna when he's with the cowherd boys in the midday pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. Nimai is out playing with the cowherd boys, and then the cowherd boys it's getting late and you have to go back home. So the cowherd boys are telling him that okay, it's getting late. They say to Lord Chaitanya to Nimai. Lord Chaitanya sounds like a different person when Nimai is our young Nimai Pandit. They say that your birth as a Brahmin is not befitting you. For us, you are our Gopal. They say like this. This is described by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Navadip Bhava Taranga. How it is that the cowherd boys, they say that you can go home for now, but come back, same time, same station, and don't be late because we're going to have some sweets for you, like that. So they're saying you can't force every devotee, into the same pigeonhole. Different devotees are going to have different bhavas. So some devotees will have, just like Gadadhars, will have them. Will cop the mood of Radha in relationship to Gora, who cops the mood of Krishna, and their leelas will go on in that mood for some time, but then at a certain interval, Gora will manifest the mood of Radha. So then what happens to Gadadhar? She manifests the mood of Lalita. Correspondingly, sensitively. In other words, the devotees should always be sensitive, as to, ascertain where the Lord is coming from, and what the Lord wants. And specifically, what he wants from us, individually, personally. It's not that everyone has to conform to some stereotype. But at the same time, the devotees should be sensitive. But to come to that position, why don't you go there and find out? It's obvious that different devotees have different moods and different relationships with their, the Lord of their heart. Different moods, maybe. And someone can say that, well, what is the mood of your guru? You should follow the mood of your guru. But then, then does that mean that if as some people say, Prabhupada would be in the mood of an assistant servant or friend of Subal, that no one should have any other mood than as being a Subal Saka, and only see Krishna in terms of the Sakya-ras relationship. You mean to tell me that some devotees will not be allowed to have the mood of being a mother of Krishna? Oh, your guru's in the Madhurya Ras, so therefore everyone, has to be in the Madhurya Ras? This is a little bit of a clumsy idea, that we can't, there can't be unity and diversity. Everyone has to be, more or less strangled into one bhav. Different devotees are naturally going to have different inclinations and have different levels of eligibility.
But couldn't be that also, like they say that everything is according to your, your desire, right? But that Krishna sends you to that particular guru for some reason.
It can be there, but as Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says, that every disciple has the right to judge about his own requirements. We all have that right. Every disciple has the right to judge about one's own requirements. And he will see his guru in terms of how the guru reciprocates with his own requirements. It says, for those in the Dasya Bhav, the lotus feet of Sri Guru will act as Raktak or Patrak. And for those in the Sakya Bhav, the lotus feet of Sri Guru will act as Subal, Sridham, Madhumangal. For those who are in the Vatsalya Bhav, the lotus feet of Sri Guru will act. In other words, the Guru Tattva, the principle of Guru and the various energies, it's just like when I'm chanting, Guru Krishna, Guru Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Guru Guru, Guru Ram, Ram Ram, Guru Guru. This is our Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare is Guru, servant of Krishna. So Hare is the energy of Krishna, but the energy of Krishna may be Yasoda Guru, Yasoda Krishna, Yasoda Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Yasoda Yasoda. And then Rohini Ram, Rohini. If you're cultivating the Vatsalya Bhav and following the Yasoda aspect of the Guru principle, then for them, Hare may mean Yasoda? If someone is following, in the masculine fatherly mood, then it'll be Nanda Krishna, Nanda Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Nanda Nanda. And because they're not thinking that they'll also see is Nandaram, Nandaram. Depending on their boss. Or Subal Krishna, Subal Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Subal, Subal. They can think Sita Ram, Sita Ram, Ram Ram, Sita Sita. Hare becomes Sita, right? So it's so difficult to understand how, Hare can also become Subal. Rakta Krishna, Rakta Krishna, Krishna Rakta, Rakta. Guru Krishna, Guru Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Guru Guru. So in that way, different devotees, they're chanting the same mantra, but they'll have different relationship with that mantra. They have the right to see their guru in terms of their own, spiritual requirements. It's not all one. So yes, transcendental system is that Krishna has sent you to the feet of a certain guru, but your relationship with that guru isn't necessarily going to be the same as the relationship that another who Krishna sent to the feet of the same guru is going to be having. So we may be thinking that, this is Krishna's arrangement. Yes, it is Krishna's arrangement. Krishna makes the arrangement for us to get Sadguru. But how we see Sadguru and how we interact with Sadguru, how we relate with him and how he reciprocates with our mood of approach, may vary from devotee to devotee. So in the same way, whether we take it in terms of our relationship with Guru, or we take it in terms of our relationship with Radharani, we take it, because different devotees will have different relationships with Radharani too. We have a tendency to want to streamline our job, by forcing everything into a singular category. But that's kind of like, monism. It's easier to deal with one than it is to deal with variety. Because then you have to accommodate the variety. And our brains may not be, big enough we may be small-minded, relatively small-minded, not broad-minded enough to accommodate. So therefore we try to, relegate everyone to one thing that we can deal with. Thinking, and usually it's Atmavan Manyate Jagat. Everyone is thinking that, because I have this bhav, everyone else has to have this bhav too. And they try to foist their own bhav on others, without actually considering the individuals involved. That tendency is there due to false ego. Or due to, even if it's not false ego, you could say due to an overzealousness about one's own abhiman. Even if it's a transcendental abhiman. Thinking that because I'm a gopi, everyone has to be a gopi. Because I aspire to become, you don't become, you already are, whatever you are. Because I aspire to realize my constitutional position. As Prabhupada said, you don't have to desire to be the son of your father or the daughter of your father. You are the son or daughter of your father. He says that you don't have to become the son of your father.
but the service can be, the
Awake. You have
like
to. You have to.
the desire is there.
No,
that,
no, but you have to desire. You have to desire to reawaken. In other words, it's just like someone comes around to wake you up from Mangalarti. You have to desire to get up from Mangalarti. And then you go through the motions, and then you find yourself at Mangalarti. If you don't, but your natural position is to be there, for Radha and Krishna and
But if
Mangalarti.
I want to do some other seva besides my seva, like my eternal seva, like, I mean, I have many sevas, right?
Yeah, so?
And then I desire that, I want to also do this seva.
Yeah.
It's also that,
Why not? Who's
the
stopping?
desire is also there. I mean, you were talking about desire.
No, but that's an individual thing that we all have varieties of desires. But when I speak of desire, when I say desire to become, the son of your father, doesn't mean that being the son of your father doesn't accommodate, many varieties of desires. This son of my father desires to serve my father in this way. That's natural. But I don't have to desire to become the son of my father, because I already am the son of my father, who desires in a myriad of ways to serve my father. You see? It's not that there's no desire. What was the question?
Jumping.
Yeah, about jumping in the Yamuna. That would hurt.
You mean the verse in Madhura Mahatmya where it says that even if one commits suicide by taking poison or strangling oneself, one still attains the supreme destination. But the point is that that supreme destination is an awfully big place. You may attain the supreme destination, but you may not go to the Bhoma Leelas of Krishna because you didn't culture the Brajavalas. You'll miss out. So therefore, better to be a little cool-headed. Don't commit suicide unnecessarily. If Krishna wants you to commit suicide, he'll let you know. Don't speculate. How do you know he doesn't want to use you for something further in this lifetime? For furthering his mission. On whatever, even if it is only to touch the heart of one soul somewhere down the road. If he wants to use you, then hang on for God's sake. Be prepared to surrender to his pity instead of going off the deep end. I want to finish my japa.
Thank you, Raymond.